Hi there and welcome to Lorena's Labyrinth today. Today we're going to be talking about a shade of blue that I refer to as lightning blue. It's basically the sapphire blue and it's interspersed with white. I've struggled a little bit with the images here, so you're going to need to have a little bit of creative imagination here as well to try and um, see in your own mind what I'm describing. So, where this waterfall is concerned, this was the best that I was able to get to try and create some form of image. The blue that's in it, though, it actually should be more aligned with the sapphire blue, if that makes sense. Anyway, hopefully you get the idea of what we're looking at or trying to look at. Anyway, did I mention that I call it lightning blue? The reason why I call it lightning blue is because we're talking about a colour that brings in the qualities, if you like, of white. We've already done the video on white, which is a colour of huge transformation. It's very powerful and it carries the qualities of purifying mind, thought, attitudes, looking with fresh eyes, and removal of burdens, if we like. And when we talk about the colour sapphire, which of course we've done that video now as well, we're talking about a very deep transformational type quality that brings in feelings of peace and protection and security. And they're both, white and blue are both primary colours on the colour spectrum. And when we work with both of these colours, from my perspective, I consider them to be right up there as far as being the most powerful and transformational of colours that we can use, being the colours of the colour spectrum. Of course, violet is right up there as well. And all of these colours are associated with some really rapid paced change, should that be what we desire. So just to reiterate, the healing properties attributed to this particular colour is one of very fast-paced change, the white offering purification of mind and thought and attitudes, beliefs, if you like, with the blue offering the emotional feelings of peace, protection, safety. And so when we talk about combining both of these colours together and using them, we're talking about a transformation that occurs across the mind, body and spirit. It's a very good colour to use for those people who are needing to have a fresh start or who work in difficult circumstances, shall we say, or living in difficult circumstances, because, of course, we have no control over our environment a lot of the time. So I think if I was to sort of recommend it to people, I would say anybody that's working or living in high stress environments, it could be working with people in human services where they're exposed to people's trauma on a daily basis, trying to help them out, and also perhaps people that are living in areas and environments where there's a complete lack of personal safety and every day becomes a challenge. You know, those people that could be perhaps in areas where there's conflict, countries, you know, perhaps Ukraine or Gaza Strip are the first ones that come to mind for me at the moment, but some of the other countries where there's a lot of conflict, and of course you never know each day how that day is going to pan out. This would be a very good colour for these people to use. We can all use it, by the way, but specifically I would recommend people in these areas to use it. For those of us that are blessed not to be living in these kind of conflict zones, however, we can still work with the benefits of these colours because there's lots of healing properties attached to this. So let's say if we're talking about, I'm thinking Australia or England are the first countries that come to mind where we're not actually living in a war zone, but lots of people are struggling with some very big emotional, heavy, weighty burdens, perhaps, you know, to do with housing, security or work, where they start to be consumed by fears and anxieties. It might be people that have got depression or feeling depressed because things have happened. They may have lost loved ones, or they may just be struggling with day-to-day stuff. Well, you would recommend this shade of blue for people, this demographic, to work with them as well. When we use the blue and white together, of course, if we've been feeling burdened or bogged down emotionally, of course, we start to lose that shiny aspect of ourselves. It's difficult to shine out happiness and joy when you're feeling burdened by everything that's going on around you. So we can still use the power of the blue and the white and draw upon it to enrich our own lives. It can help to recharge and renew our zest for life, if you like, and how we portray ourselves to others. So a way of describing it is that when we use these colours together, we restore that inner spark within them. And once we've filled the cup, if you like, and brought light back into our own sense of being, then we're better able to shine light or kindness outwardly to those people around us. So, if you're thinking that things have to be really bad for you to be able to draw upon the power of these colours, that would be a mistake, actually, because we can actually use this colour on a daily basis as part of our spiritual hygiene. And it's something that I recommend, and I do call it spiritual hygiene because I look at it as being mind, body, and spirit. I've also dedicated a whole video towards what people can do as part of their spiritual hygiene. To make sure that we take advantage of each day, that we treat each day as a new beginning. And I really do believe that it's something, this activity of using the sapphire and the white is something that we should all be doing every day. Because if you think rationally and logically about it, when we participate in daily life, we're exposed to people, we're exposed to environments, and even if we don't leave the house, if we interact with the world in any way, shape, or form, and that could be through the internet, then we're going to come across situations that are going to disrupt, shall we say, our internal mechanisms. You know, it's very easy, for example, if we're watching the news, to feel unsettled because we don't like what we're seeing. What other examples are there? Excuse me, clicking and whatever it is, tut-tutting with my tongue. People that are really compassionate, or I would like to call them over empathetic, where they basically take on board the emotions of others, they particularly would benefit from doing this activity at least on a daily basis. We can do it at the beginning of the day, or we can do it intermittently throughout the day. When we feel that our internal sense of balance has been thrown out, that's another good time to do the activities. And it's such a quick activity that you can do. And of course, I'm going to give you some strategy here where it takes nothing out of your day, very little time, because you include it in whatever activities that you're actually already doing. For those people that are working in the human services areas, and as I say, dealing with perhaps people with mental illness or homelessness, or even in the prison system and that kind of thing, they can actually just do the activities in their toilet breaks as part of retaining their own internal status quo. The first time we do any new activity tends to be the time that it's going to be the most difficult, and the time that we've got to put the most effort into actually doing it. And because this is an activity that we can do just by visualizing and using our creative imagination elements, I recommend that people do the activity for the first time when they're actually having a shower, because then that becomes imprinted on their mind as to how they're going to do it. So what you would do is actually state your intention before you have the shower, which is that you're going to be drawing upon the blue and white lights as part of purifying your body, mind, and spirit, and wrapping yourself and enveloping yourself in peace and protection in preparation for the day. Okay, and then you would just jump under the shower. It's easier if you do it on a day where you're washing your hair, of course, because that's the whole, well, I should say it's a very important factor of the activity, is to imagine and visualize yourself under the water, with the water flowing over the top of your crown and then flowing down your body, wrapping around it, like snaking and curling around you, swirling all around you, and removing all that energetic debris and dross that may be contained within your aura, and then feeling and seeing all of this heaviness flushing away down the drain, leaving you in this peaceful, hopeful, positive place. And as you go through this activity, the end result is that through feeling peaceful and not having your judgment clouded by emotions, you're able to think, your thoughts are less cluttered, it's easy to focus and plan your day. And as I say, it comes back to being in positive ways. So, this exercise is largely associated with expanded thinking and purity of intent. So, of course, life is different strokes for different folks, and what works for one person as far as visualization goes is not necessarily going to work for the next person. And it's all about being comfortable with what we do. So, if the shower activity is not comfortable for you, you can always do this one with the waterfall. And it's certainly one that's quite easy to do and draw upon during the working day, especially if you're out and about. It would be the same process as having the shower, except that with the waterfall, what we're looking at here is, and as I say, the image doesn't do it justice, but you would imagine that there's a lot of sapphire blue coming down that waterfall, and then you have the white froth and spray. Of course, when the waterfall or the water hits the earth, if you've ever looked at a waterfall or watched a video of them, you'll know that there becomes a lot of white frothy spray and foam that's at the base of the waterfall. So you would visualize yourself standing at the bottom of the waterfall with the blue pouring over you, and the blue is interspersed with white, but then the froth goes down, or when it hits the ground, the froth bounces back up. So it's down with the blue and up with the white is another way of doing it as well. These techniques are really exceptional, I must say, for those people that are working in high stress environments, such as first responders like ambulance people. And I do, as I say, there are activities that you can incorporate with ease. If you've just attended to some kind of critical or crisis situation, you can take a 5-minute break, go outside, and just while you're getting the sun on you or while you're sitting on the loo or whatever, you just do a couple of the breathing exercises and bring these colours into your own sense of being. So on this page, we've got an affirmation. I'm going to give you a couple of them because affirmations are something, once again, I've got a separate video to this, but affirmations are something that's got to feel right with our own soul, to resonate with us, that when we speak them, it's at least somehow believable to us. So we adapt these and use our own words, right? So this is an example of what you might say when you're doing the activities of the waterfall or the shower. And of course, you always end an affirmation or invocation with gratitude. And this particular affirmation is related to manifestation. So this is another option that you might consider using. It just depends on what you're trying to create in your life as to what you might affirm. And this particular affirmation is related to manifestation. So this is another option that you might consider using. It just depends on what you're trying to create in your life as to what you might affirm. And this particular affirmation is related to manifestation. So when it comes to interpreting the subconscious message of a colour, sometimes I think it helps to go through the properties like we've done today and establish, pull it all together. What might it mean? And within the perspective of this lightning blue colour, if I was in an art group and I saw that someone was drawn to using these colours or had the real aversion to them, I would be asking them questions such as, are you okay? Are you feeling bogged down? Are you feeling overwhelmed? Is there anything that I can help you with? And if you find out that the person is consumed with negative and depressive type thoughts, anxieties and fears, then it might be worth considering whether or not recommending them to do these activities that I've mentioned today, because at the very least it may form a distraction for them as they develop new and positive neural pathways, as they shift out of this negative mindset, the transformation and repatterning of thinking, especially if they've got fairly deep disorders. But anyway, yes, that would be what I would do. Of course, what you do might be different. And by the way, can I invite you to leave your own thoughts or conclusions that you might make about what the subconscious message of this lightning blue is? I'm very open to other people's ideas. So, my friends, that is it for today. I think we're shifting away from the darker blues at this point in time now and going into the lighter blues in the very near future. And from there, we're going to be looking, I think, at some of the shades of green. I can't remember offhand right now. But either way, that's about all I can give you today in regard to my interpretations of these particular colour combinations. As I say, please make a comment, let me know your thoughts. Even, you know what, even just write a comment saying where you're from and what might be applicable. That would be great. Anyway, I'm going to love you and leave you for now and get cracking on the next video. Take care for now. Bye bye.